But I am going to give my thoughts on the what should be the left-hand side, starting with Kairi Sane. So let me start it like this. Andre Chase, okay. We're not really pressed by the release of Andre Chase. These are the main roster, mainly people released. There's a couple of other people released, and there's one of those people that has everyone in the uproar as well. I'm gonna find her name here while we're doing the show, and I'll talk about that too. So, Andre Chase, yeah, I don't even know why he was still there. To be completely honest, Alba Fire. Um, how to get rid of Alba Fire and not Chelsea Green when she was working for Chelsea Green? Just my thought. Zoe Starks didn't even know she was still with WWE. I know she had an injury and then didn't have anything for her when she was healthy, or she got hurt again, or a couple of conflicted stories about her. But at the end, Zoe Starks didn't really make a mark. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. I mean, honestly, they just took the place of Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and that whole storyline didn't have a long shelf anyway. Santos Escobar, don't even know why you re-signed him when you know you didn't really want him. I guess because of the work he does in AAA, but not too much surprise by it. But there's actually two names that piss me off on this list right here. The top one and the bottom one. Let's start with the bottom one. We're going to go in order of importance to most people. So you might say, well, cool. Why does Apollo Crews piss you off? So I'm a huge proponent, especially for my wrestlers of color, getting a real opportunity. When did that happen for Apollo Crews? It never happened for Apollo Crews. You know why it never happened for Apollo Crews? Because Paul never cared about Apollo Crews. Yeah, my voice is back today. So I'm feeling a little ticked off. And I don't understand why you don't give a guy, Uhaa Nation and the Independents, big following, great wrestler, has everything you want. You don't really give him a chance. You don't really give him a good storyline. Why didn't you put him in the Hurt Business? Why didn't you let him have some real runs with Intercontinental Championship and at least have some opportunities to challenge for the WWE Championship at least once, being a tag team champions? Nothing. A couple of runs with the United States Championship is about all this man got, I believe, was the United States Championship. And what I would like to happen with Apollo is I'd like for Apollo to stick it to Paul by going somewhere else and showing who he really is. I would probably say AEW, just based on the partnership with TNA. It doesn't really seem like you can go to TNA too much and kind of stick it to Vince anymore. Or excuse me, no, that wasn't really a slip. It was a low-key shot. But Paul and his Vince-like tendencies with certain people are not pleasing. And a guy that hangs around, a guy that's been what they call a good hand for a long time, a guy that's done everything that's been asked of him, shows up on TV when you need somebody in a group of 4 or 5 to get beat down by somebody. All the talent in the world. You didn't even say, you know what, we'll send you back to NXT, repackage you, whatever. No, we're just going to let you go. We're going to let go of a good, solid talent that brings in money, of color, that we can throw in a tag team, veteran, professional. We're going to release him. Why? Because I'm Paul and I can. That's why. And I'm not saying these decisions are completely on Paul, because at the end of the day, now that TKO owns WWE, it's a business. And that was a problem with TKO buying the company. It's a business now. They don't see this as individuals. They don't see this as guys and what they can bring. They see this as a business and a business owner. That's a problem, in case you weren't aware. WWE is not just a business. WWE is a company. It's a way of life for a lot of people. There are people who, take this very seriously. Let's just say that. And the way that Paul and TKO has handled this is really garbage. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I just want people to understand, like, they did that man wrong. Apollo Crews was done wrong since he entered WWE main roster. They did that man wrong. And then to release him on top of that. Now, we're going to change the tone here a little bit. Paul TKO, what in the fudge is wrong with y'all? How in all God's green earth did you release Kairi Sane in the middle of the storyline, her being the best we've seen Kairi Sane be? And you're going to release her in the middle of one of the main storylines in the women's division, and you release the pivotal character. Because this whole thing was supposed to be leading to, is Kairi going to actually finally leave Asuka, go on her own and do her thing? Or is she going to stay Asuka's lackey? And if she does turn on Asuka with Io Sky, what's she going to do? And you had nerve to just release her? This is a story you've been telling for what? Since Bayley was part of Damage Control. Since they were Damage Control, you've been starting this story. And instead of finishing it, we're just going to release one of the main players of this part of the story. That's why people trash WWE. That's why athletes, that's why fans, that's why the people that live in their mom's basement at 30 plus years old, this is why they have legs to stand on when they attack WWE. You don't have anything better to do with your life than release people who matter and keep people who don't matter. I could give you a list of people. I'm not going to. I can give you a list of people that just should have been released before Kairi Sane. And I'm sure at least a couple on that list would equal her salary. So what are you going to do with the storyline now? You going to do the storyline now, Paul? The one y'all been pushing for over a year, Paul? What are you going to do, Paul? What about Kairi? Huh? Great idea. This is what you get when you get guys together. They have some great ideas, and they think they know everything. They think they have all the ideas. Now, what do we have? Io Sky and Asuka. Are they going to get back together and be buddy-buddy? Are they going to have one-on-one fights? What are they going to do? Nobody gives a flip now. And that's all thanks to Paul and the rest of the creative team. So congratulations in taking one of the only really good storylines that you had and destroying it. Again, that's why so many people actually watch the program get pissed off at the program. Wonderful. I'm going to keep it cool now because it's still another one coming. So I'm going to keep it cool for now. But that's all I got to say about that.
You released Kairi Sane when everybody's looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Could have did it at WrestleMania, but you didn't want to add an extra match to the card. You know you got Backlash coming up, and we saw the segment with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley parting ways, and we knew you did a video package with Asuka and Kairi talking about Io. So that's pretty much the last we get to see of Kairi.
The Motor freaking City Machine Guns. Legends in Ring of Honor. Legends in so many wrestling promotions. Legends in TNA. They come to WWE. They start off with a World Tag Team title, SmackDown World Tag Team title win early on. And then nothing. Why? Well, so we can have a feud that lasted way too long between the MFTs and another team I'm going to talk about in a minute, the Wyatt Sicks. So you have the nerve, Paul, to cut tag teams when your tag team divisions are hot, melted, nasty, 95-degree doo-doo and trash juice mixed together. The tag team divisions, the tag team champs on SmackDown right now are Damian Priest and R-Truth. They're not even a tag team. And they're the tag team champs. And they try to sell it to us fans. Oh, they get better every week. If they ain't even good together, how the freak is they tag team champions? But you take a real tag team, an established tag team, a tag team that you pushed to the moon when they first got there, and in a year you've released them. You know what this is? This is indictment on Paul and his staff that you couldn't get your stuff together enough to have your real good tag teams, the solid workers, the veterans, the guys who don't mind putting young guys over, helping guys, come up and get better. They can't win championships but one time when they get there. But the MFTs and the Wyatts can hold the belts for what, 5-6 months together between the two. They have this huge feud over them.
And a lantern.
We're going to say the lantern for when we get to the Wyatt Sicks. Yeah, we're going to say that for that. So I'm telling all of you veteran tag teams, if you're out there from other promotions, you didn't cut your teeth in WWE, stay the fudge away from WWE. Because it's how they're going to do you. It wasn't Vince. This is a company thing. Paul is doing Vince 2.0. And this is garbage. This is hot doodle sauce. There is no reason why the Motor City Machine Guns shouldn't be tag team champs instead of being kicked out of the WWE. Released. Not only they released with the likes of Andre Chase, Alba Fire, Zoe Starks, Santos Escobar. That's a disrespect to those men. So I'm telling you, tag teams, listen to me. If you did not cut your teeth in WWE, do not go to WWE because you'll win one championship and then you'll be gone in a year. And TKO has made it so. So this is what we get. Now, any thoughts on the Motor City Machine Guns before we get to the Wyatts?
Disappointing. Very disappointing. It's disappointing to the fact that y'all could have used Motor City Machine Gun in the whole comedic stunt with Johnny Gargano right now.
And why is Johnny Gargano still there? So I'll throw it out there. Now let's go to the one that pisses me off the most. Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas took on the mantle of the leader of the Wyatt Sicks because of the death of Bray Wyatt, his brother. They're called the Wyatt Sicks, kind of a play on the words on number 6, but there was only 5 of them. They started on Raw as this unstoppable force. Then they were a stoppable force and they got traded to SmackDown. Here's the problem I have. And I'm not yelling today because I want to make sure that everyone understands why I'm pissed. You came out, Bo Dallas, Eric Roman, Dexter Lumis, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy. They all had the interviews explaining why they're in the Wyatt Sicks, for what reason and all that. Thought that was fantastic. Way to do them after the intro. The problem is WWE and Paul specifically does not know how to deal with supernatural factions or wrestlers. They don't have to be around all the time. But you have to understand when they're around, things like their lamp getting taken by Solo Sikoa and L for months, that can't happen. You're saying in story that the lamp has this supernatural power from Bray Wyatt. And you mean to tell me Uncle Howdy gonna let Solo Sikoa silly button his little team of misfits take it from him and keep it. So they're supernatural, but when they're in the back, the lights can't go out and it disappear. When they walk into the ring, lights can't go out and disappear. You can't think of any of those other ways for them to get the lamp back besides having Tama Tonga give it to them. You know what I said at that moment? They gone. I did. I said they all gone. Because you didn't even win back your most precious possession from Bray Wyatt. It was taken from you. And that's how you wrote them, Paul, TKO, and who the freak ever else was part of this garbage whole program writing and everything. They can take the breaks. The breaks are not the issue. It's when they come back and they're still doing the same thing. The feud with the MFTs was way too long. It didn't need to be all that. They should have had opportunities to fight better teams, but there aren't. What happened to the Street Profits? They was gone for a good minute before they ended up on the other show. The tag team divisions are not right. And you have this big faction. You don't have any monster factions or any factions they're not scared to go up against them like the Bloodline or anything. Right? I truthfully want to say a lot, but what I'm going to end with is simply this. Paul, TKO, Creative. The Wyatt Sicks, the Motor Machine Guns, Apollo Crews, and Kairi Sane. No. Apollo Crews, not Kairi Sane. That's on y'all. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega is on y'all too. You know why? Had you put them in meaningful storylines and gave them something to do, they would push merchandise and they would still be there. But you decided you was going to bring back Aleister Black and Zelina Vega and basically had them take the place of Karrion Kross and Scarlett. And honestly, they didn't even come across as menacing. There have been successes. And I won't say that there haven't been successes since this whole Paul being in charge and TKO taking over. But what I will say is I'm seeing a lot of misses with this as well that I'm not used to from WWE. I'm not used to WWE having so many misses. I'm used to them, missing on a couple of things, but not to the level that they are now. Starting and stopping, not finishing storylines, releasing people in the middle of runs, bringing a group in, building them up, and then releasing everybody a couple of years later. If you would take the time to pre-plan out what you want to do with these, especially groups when you bring them in, right? You may not have the exact opponent, but they're going to have a feud for 2 months, maybe a feud for 3 months or so, but we're going to get to the main pay-per-views and we're buying off these feuds. But to do that, you have to be on the main cards for PLEs. And guess who doesn't show up on PLEs? Wyatt Sicks, the Motor Machine Guns, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, Apollo Crews, Kairi Sane. Consistently. I'm so disappointed in just usage for guys. Remember when they started doing the 4 matches, sometimes 5 matches at PLEs, and I started complaining? This is why. These guys, Wyatt Sicks, Motor City Machine Guns, Apollo Crews, Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, Kairi Sane, these are the people who suffer when you do that. Because these are the people who get lost in the cracks, and these are the people who get let go. You can't tell me any of those people did not come in and do their job to the best of their ability with what they were given. But what you can tell me is they were not given true opportunities to get over in their roles, be successful, sell merch, and get more spots on TV. Except for Kairi. That's the only one of this list you can say that about. WWE, Paul, y'all have got to be better. Fans deserve better storylines from multiple characters. What if you're a fan of the Wyatt Sicks? What if you kind of feel the vibe that they have and maybe you understand where they're supposed to be coming from? Now they're just gone. So there's a void that nobody else can feel that you have on the roster. Right? Understand what you're doing. You're trying to give a product to meet as many different groups as possible. Had the possibility to tap into a whole nother, the kind of slightly scary thing with the whole Wyatt Sicks. Instead of bringing another member and making it a real six to beef them up and make them better, what you do? You cut them. Great job, WWE. And I hope the people that are cut, some may get brought back for less money, but probably not most, maybe none at all. I hope you guys are going to have great success outside WWE and show WWE what they're missing. Because there's a lot of talent on the screen, and WWE should be ashamed of itself. I'm not giving y'all anger. I'm giving y'all real. I mean, there's nothing really else to say. You're going to regret what you did. It is what it is.
And when let me guess, is Julia next? Because you just have her just drop the title to Tiffany Stratton like it was nothing.
You never know. Because it's probably going to be more cuts. This is just the first wave.